Hey, so today we're going to be talking about specific heat capacities, still part of chapter 17, section 1, but this is going to be a short video. We're going to talk about heat capacities, and so we should be able to define heat capacities of substances by the end of this video. So what is a specific heat capacity? Heat capacity in general is the amount of heat needed to raise the temperature of an object by 1 degree Celsius, so increase the temperature. How much heat do you need? That is what a heat capacity is. It's influenced by two things. First thing is mass. Now, it kind of makes sense. It's going to take a lot more heat to raise the temperature of the larger ice cube than it is to raise the temperature of the smaller ice cube. And so mass is influencing heat capacities. Again, the amount of energy needed to heat or raise the temperature of an object by 1 degree Celsius. The second thing that influences it is chemical substance. Here we have a caffeine molecule, and the caffeine molecule requires a little bit more energy than water to heat it by 1 degree Celsius. So it's going to have a different heat capacity. But let's think about that a little bit more. Here's your extension question. Why would the chemical substance influence the heat capacity? Take a minute to pause the video and then come up with an answer. The answer is on the next slide, but I want you to try to answer it yourself first. So pause the video and come up with an answer to see if you're right. The answer is that since there's energy stored in bonds in the chemical compounds, and we talked about potential chemical potential energy in the last video, each substance will need a different amount of energy or heat to break those bonds. So the more bonds you have, the more energy. So if we're comparing caffeine and water, caffeine is going to have more bonds, and so it's going to need more energy to break into those bonds than it will in a water molecule, which only has 2 bonds. So caffeine has more chemical potential energy than water, and so it's going to have a different or higher heat capacity than water. So with that being said, we now have defined heat capacities. Heat capacity is the ability or the amount of energy needed for an object to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. And the two things that affect heat capacity are mass and the chemical substance. It takes more heat to heat something with more mass, and because the chemical potential energy has more heat needed to break those bonds if there are more bonds in the substance. So mass and chemical substance influence the ability of something to raise its temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So with that, if you have any questions, come tomorrow prepared with those questions. Other than that, I'll see you later.